Hi, myself Praveen. Today we are going to discuss about ADDS, Active Directory Domain Services. Before getting into ADDS, first we should know what is the difference between workgroup and domain. Workgroup is nothing but it's a decentralized network. Example, there is around 300 to 400 computers we can't manage in a centralized way. If we want to do any kind of changes, we have to go for a particular PC locations, we have to do the changes. So that is about workgroup. In a single word we can call as decentralized network. It will be very difficult to manage about large number of volume of computers. Domain is nothing but a centralized network management. If I want to do some changes in a computers, I can do the changes over the policies. Even though around 1000, 10,000 PCs or n number of PCs, in a centralized way I can deploy the policy, I can do the changes. So that is the main difference between domain as well as workgroup. In corporate world, everybody will be using domain. So that's the concept of Active Directory. The ADDS will provide a centralized management of all the hosts. What do you mean by Active Directory services? A definition. It's a database that keeps track of huge amount of stuff called objects and gives us a centralized way to manage all the object. Active Directory will have a database, and the database will consist of objects, and where we can manage all the objects in a centralized way. Now you will have a doubt, what do you mean by objects? Object is nothing but user accounts, group accounts, computer accounts, services, like it may be email services, application services, and other resources. Resources is nothing but printers, share folders, everything we can manage in a centralized way. So overall, this and all we can call as objects. So in Active Directory, there are two components. One is physical component of an Active Directory, and one more is logical components of an Active Directory. First we can get into physical components of an Active Directory. There are two things in physical components of an Active Directory. One is domain controller, and second is replication between domain controller. So what do you mean by physical component? Which you can see, touch and feel, that is we can call as physical components. Under that only domain controller, that means is nothing but server where you can see, touch and feel, as well as replication between domain controller, WAN links. WAN links is nothing but like routers, switches, cables, this and all physical devices. What do you mean by domain controller? Next, domain controller is nothing but a server which holds ADDS services. It is called as domain controller, or we will call as DC. Normally in companies there will be a multiple DCs for management purpose, for backup purpose. If one DC fails, one more DC will be running. You can create n number of backup servers also. So if you do any changes in DC1, and it will replicate to DC2. So that is the concept of multi-domain controller. So next we are going to discuss about logical components of an Active Directory. Under logical components, there are 5 categories. First component of an Active Directory is domains. Second is tree. Third is forest. Fourth is OU, and fifth will be a global catalog. So in this session we are going to discuss starting 3: domain, tree, as well as forest. In further videos we are going to discuss what you may OU and what you may global catalog. So first, domain. What do you mean by domain? It's in a logical boundary which has a group of computers and which shares a common shared directory. So that we can call as domain. For example, you can see a domain here itself. So this will be a server and this and all will be a client. Once ADDS service is running, when this client will be a member of this particular domain, once it come into this domain, and it will be in a logical boundary. Via in logical boundary only the concept of applying the policies, taking the control, this and all will happen. So this is we can call as domain. Domain is nothing but a logical boundary. Once the PC will be a member and it will be a logically within a boundary of a Tech-Luso.com. For example, as of now we have 4 computers. 4 computers will be into a logical boundary with Tech-Luso.com. So that will be a logical boundary. So which other computers will be a member of a domain? Only that particular PC or a host where we can take control. So that particular thing we can call as domain. Domain will be represented in the form of triangle that we can call a CIA model: confidentiality, integrity and availability. Confidentiality, I think you know, that secures the data within a domain. Integrity is nothing but while replicating between one site to another site, from one location to another location, that transferring the information that will be securely transferred over the AD network. So that we can call as integrity. Availability is nothing but 24/7, which provides the services for the clients, that is will be availability. So based on these 3 criteria, they given name called CIA model and they given the triangle shape. So from now onwards, in further videos also, we will be representing the domain in the shape of triangle. Next is about tree. What do you mean by tree? A group of domain we can call as tree. Already I told. See, for example, this is Tech-Luso. It is in some Australia. It's my main branch. Now I'm going to open sub branch in US. So there I will build my own domain in the form of like us.techluso.com. I'm going to open one more branch in India. That will be like in.techluso.com. So this is main domain. These 2 are subdomains. So this domains, a collection of domains, we can call as tree. Then what do you mean by a forest? It's a basic thing. A group of trees we can call as forest. For example, this is a group of domain is in a tree. A group of tree we can call as forest. Or you can tell one more word also. The outermost boundary of an enterprise we can call as forest. That means this is one tree, this is one more tree, and it will be under a logical boundary like Tech-Luso.com so and so. Then that will be we can call as forest. These are the basic requirements to build a domain controller. What are the requirements? Appropriate edition of server 2012 or 2016 of operating system. Own a domain name. Third, you should have a static IP for a domain controller. It should be connected to the network. While configuring Active Directory, your user account should be an administrator or member of an administrator group. Next, you need a minimum space to install ADDS 250 MB with NTFS partition. So these are the basic requirements to build a ADDS server. Now we can go through with the practicals, how to configure ADDS, and we are going to make a member of the client and how it will become a member, how the user logins. That basic things we are going to show in this video. So this is Windows Server 2012, then client. So first, basic criteria, have to check the edition. we are using standard edition. Next, we need a static IP. So this is my static IP. I'm using 192.168.0.200 and DNS address I'm giving 192.168.0.200. Whenever we are going to install a Active Directory services, default the DNS services will be integrated. So I'm specifying here itself. The gateway what I'm using, it is our local router, and this also will be our local router for internet purpose. That's it. Just give OK, close. So just go with server manager, add roles, next, select this one and give next. So here we have to select Active Directory domain services. Select add a feature. Give next. Just if you want, just enable restart if it is needed and give install. So installation has been completed. Just give close. Here you can see an option called promote this server to a domain controller. Just select this option and here it will ask, here there will be a 3 option. One will be add a domain controller to an existing domain, add a new domain to an existing forest, add a new forest. So here we are going to select add a new forest because this is my first domain where it is starting. So I am going to select add a new forest. If I want to build a backup server, then I can go with add a domain controller to an existing domain. If I am going to open a new branch in some other countries, there I can place separate domain controller and I can build new domain within a existing forest. So first I'm going to select add a new forest. So Tech-Luso.com. So next there are 2 options. One is forest functional level and domain functional level. What do you mean forest functional level? If I am going to select Windows Server 2012, that means in my entire forest it will support 2003, 2008 and 2008 R2 and Windows Server 2012. That means if I am going to build a backup server or if I am going to build a some other child server, it will support 2003. I can build my backup server with 2003, 2008, 2008 R2 and 2012. Similar within a domain also, if I am going to select 2012, it will support up to 2012. I can build my backup internal server from 2003, 8, R2 as well as 2012. For in case if I am going to select 2008 R2, only up to 2008 R2 it will support to build ADCs like backup servers. It won't support for Windows Server 2012. So normally we have to specify 2012, so it will be easy for us for utilizing the things. Then DNS, let it be, and let it be a default options. So here we have to give DSRM password, that means directory service restore mode. So what is the use of this? Whenever we want to restore the AD, then by using this we can log into a DSRM mode and we can recover the Active Directory services or backup things we can restore over the DSRM mode. This is most important password because once you forget we can reset and we can do the things, but preferable we should remember this password. Just give next. So it will show a net bias name. Net bias name in the sense there is won't be a hierarchical structure like .com, .in, .I, that and all. This is only the name that we can call as net bias. So default, whenever you are going to install a Active Directory, it will build three databases, three category of databases. One is database folder, one is log file, one is sys volume. So database, what it holds the AD objects. Already I told one of my objects, user account, group accounts, computers, so on so. Log files which keep on tracking what is happening within the AD, everything logs will be stored in log file folder. Then sys volume folder. The main purpose of sys volume to share the policies, GPO, and as well as like any kind of scripts we are going to deploy over the networks. Everything will happen via sys volume folder. Default sys volume will be shared. So here default it's going to store in C drive. In reality, we can build a RAID level and we can redirect this database in RAID level hard drives, and we can build a strong AD domain. Just give next, let it be in the same location, and here you can go through our new domain Tech-Luso.com. Our net bias name will be Tech-Luso. Our forest function level, domain function level, global catalog is as, DNS is as. Another option. What and where and all database are stored, everything it will give a small review what we selected. So just give next. Or before going to this, if you want to see the script, whenever you configure default, it will use a PowerShell script. This is the PowerShell script. If you want, you can save this and later you can use by using this script you can build ADC also, but we are not going to do that now. As of now, just I'm going to give next. It will check all the prerequisites and it will validate the requirements, and then it will give the option called installation. So I'm going to select now installation. So it started installing. It will take little bit time. So now it's completed. It's restarting now. So after restarting, this is the first screen you will get with domain name, that means net bias name, as well as your administrator, that means the local administrator what you have. Login. So once it is loaded, once again just go for server manager, then select tools. Here you can see many services related with Active Directory. In further videos we are going to discuss with domain and trust, sites and services, so and so, but more we are going to work on Active Directory users and computers. So now we are going to select Active Directory users and computers. So this is the actual console of an Active Directory users and computers. This is the domain name Tech-Luso.com. Under that you will get built-in account. What and all built-in account in the sense groups, everything will be here. Here all the computers will be stored here only, the registered computers which are and all joined to the Tech-Luso domain, that computers will be listed here. Here domain controllers will be listed, how many domain controllers you have. So as of now we have only one domain controller. then here all the user account will be managed. So further videos we are going to discuss about foreign security policies, manage service accounts and all. So first here I'm going to create one user as tech. So your account will be like tech@techluso.com. So password should be complexity password. See, can you see your user logon name will be tech@techluso.com. Just give finish. So your user account has been created. So this is the basic things about how to install Active Directory and how to create a user in a Active Directory. Now I'm going to make as a client, I'm going to log in here. So just first log into a local admin account. First check whether the communication is happening between the domain and the client. Then we can join to the domain. Yeah, now it's logged in. So here also first we can check with the connectivity between server and the client. It's in a basic criteria. Ping space, first try with IP 192.168.0.200. So first it is communicating with the IP. Now check whether it is communicating with name. So type Tech-Luso.com. Okay, so here even we are able to communicate with the name also. It is resolving with 192.168.0.200. Before this, first you have to check the IP address, because if we are not specifying any kind of domain IP to our client as a DNS, this name resolution won't happen, and as well as while making a member to a domain, it will show an error. So first we have to check whether it has a domain controller IP as a DNS. Normally for clients, the IP will be assigned by the DHCP server. For servers, we will assign manually, or we will make as over the MAC ID, we will reserve the IP for the servers. So as of now here, we are doing everything is manual. So 192.168.0.220 is a client IP, as well as 0.200 is a DNS server, our domain control server. Based on this only the name resolution is happening. Just give OK. So to make a member, just go for my computer. So this is the computer. Right click on this, go for properties, select here change settings. Change. Here I'm going to remove the work group. Default all the operating system will be in work group. Just we have to change to domain. Before that I will TLD Tech-Luso desktop. Just give as 1. I will give it as 1. So domain name Tech-Luso.com. Now just give the username and password of this server, that means domain control server administrator. Now it will show welcome to the Tech-Luso.com domain. Just give OK. It will restart to apply the changes. Just give restart now. So let it restart. Okay, it's started getting updated. Once before this, we can go with domain controller. We can check here. So here, if you go for computers, it will show a list once it is completed. So already it's showing here. So TLD1, it's in a computer. If you open this, you can see here what version as well as with what name it will show, which operating system and all, and it is a member of what. Everything you can see from here itself. You can manage that particular computer in a centralized way. Yeah, it's restarted. So once it will, after being a domain, after joining to a domain, it will show a console like this with other user option. So select other user. Here tech is a user, password. So now the authentication will happen in the server. What user we are created here, this user I'm logging with Windows 10, and the authentication will happen with the server itself. That's a main feature of ADDS. The authentication, authorization and accounting, AAA services, main service of an Active Directory. So this is the Logon Console. Once it log into your account, you can see here Tech Console. So here, if you do any changes, if you want to do any kind of changes, it will prompt for the username password of a domain. So just we can test here itself. Can you see Tech-Luso.com? This indicate itself it's a domain member. If you want to do any kind of changes, we need permission of a domain. So now it will prompt for the username password of a domain. So if you want to do any kind of changes in client end, either you can use your domain username and password, administrator domain username password, to do changes, or you can use your local computer admin username and password. For that, if you use // it will show your computer name. If you give your local admin and password, then you can do the changes. So this is about your ADDS basic. In further videos, we are going to discuss about how to integrate with Office 365 account with AD.